today we are bringing down the house. We got a buddy with us. He thinks he has the heebie-jeebies, but we're soon to find out. Welcome to the St Canard Files, a Darkwing podcast. I'm your host, Will Santana, and
I'm Mike Russo, and listening to a podcast is the perfect way to enjoy Crazy Kevin's classic cocktail weenies.
What's going on, Mike? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm good. We have a special guest with us tonight.
Oh, man. Who we got today?
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hey, this is Andrew Wallace, and you should accept the things you cannot change. Or is that change the things you can't accept?
The LP one.
Nice.
All right. So, Andrew, you doing all right, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I just got a lot of studying to do with exams coming up, but yeah, I mean, everything else is good.
Okay. So, you ready to talk some DW? You requested this episode.
Oh, yeah.
All I'm going to say is you better not steal some shine of my boy Quackerjack. That's all me. All right. You step off. All right. So, Mike, man, this episode, it's going to drop right before New Year's, right?
Yes, it will.
All right. So, I guess from behalf of the St. Canard podcast, I just want to say Happy New Year's to everyone. 2020 is finally getting over.
Yeah, here's to a better 2021.
Yeah, man. So we'll talk about Darkwing, like a recap of 2020, probably a little bit after this episode, maybe, Mike.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Maybe we can do it like a whole group, man. 6-7 of us or something. Just chit chat about Darkwing for the year or something.
Yeah, we haven't recorded anything after this yet, but we're kind of thinking of doing some more bonus episodes to have another break. Extend the life of the podcast again a little bit. So we'll see what we come up with. Nothing is set in stone yet, but we think we're going to do a 2020 wrap up.
Okay.
Definitely for sure.
All right. And Mike, what episode are we talking about today?
One of my personal favorites. We're talking about Stress to Kill.
This isn't one of my favorites, but I do feel it's tier 2. Is that fair?
I would say it's tier 2, but as in terms of my own personal enjoyment,
okay,
this is definitely one of my all-time favorites. I love that. I love the hell out of this one.
All right. Andrew, would you say it's tier 2, tier 1, tier 3? Where you at with this on this episode?
Well, with me, I put it in my top 5.
Whoa.
Right.
Okay.
But when I put it on, more top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah,
okay.
Top 10. Because whenever I sit and think about it, it really feels like a tier 2, but I just love the fact that you get so much Quackerjack and Megavolt, more so than Time and Punishment.
Yeah,
a lot more of them in this one.
I'm really with Andrew on this. Yeah, this is definitely a tier 2, but in terms of my overall enjoyment, yeah, this is just one. I love this one because it's so funny. It really makes me laugh.
Okay, now, Mike. There's a scene on this episode I ain't never seen before until today.
You stumbled upon a Toon Disney edit, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Andrew, did you? Well, Andrew wasn't around.
No,
with Toon Disney.
No, Darkwing's been off Toon Disney for at least 15 years. So he wouldn't have seen it.
And Andrew, you're 15 years old, right?
Correct.
Okay, Andrew, there's a scene today that I saw on the Disney Plus version. I had never ever seen it ever.
Really?
Yes.
So that means you never watched the DVDs.
I haven't even opened my DVDs.
Dang.
They're still sealed. But yeah, we'll get to that scene, Mike, and we'll inform Andrew. I'm sure he might be able to figure it out if he sits down and think about it for a good 10, 15 seconds. But yeah, there's a part I had never seen before. So let's just go ahead and get into our production and air date order, man.
Yup. This one was the last from the winter 1992 batch of episodes to air. It aired Tuesday, March 3rd, 1992. It's going to be almost 2 months before another one aired. And it was 62nd in production number.
So it's it's close to the back of the pack.
Yeah, it's one of the last ones in production number, before what should have been the original production schedule until they had to make all those new ones. Okay. But yeah, it's pretty high up there.
And who's our writer and stuff and the story editor?
Story editor is Kevin Crosby Hops, and it's written by Doug Langdale. This is right before Kevin Crosby Hops left and Doug Langdale was promoted to story editor.
Okay.
Langdale is a great writer. He wrote some really funny Megavolt episodes. I think this is definitely one of his best. He's like Dev Ross. He really knows these characters and what makes them tick.
Okay. And who's our animation studio today?
Disney Japan. Not like one of the top tiers of Disney Japan. I'm not even sure if it's as good as Let's Get Respectable, but it still has its moments.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy the animation. It's it's much better than Sun Wu.
Yeah.
Again, not top tier Disney Japan, but still very good. This is the last Disney Japan episode.
Okay.
It's I'm pretty sure that when they had to make new episodes and then when they made ABC season 2, it probably just wasn't in the budget to bring back Disney Japan and Disney Australia. And those studios had moved on to Goof Troop, Mermaid, Bonkers, other shows. So this is the very last we're going to see of like the best studios. From here on, it's pretty much just Sun Wu and some lower tier studios. So this is the end of like the really good Darkwing animation.
Okay. There was a few scenes that popped out to me. Any few scenes popped out to you, Andrew?
Whenever DW's like, I'm not mad, I thought that was a good animation, and there was some good shading in the panther scene.
I would say the whole Schubert Theater sequence is probably the best sequence in the episode, but we'll detail that when we get around to it.
Okay, yeah. All right, Mike, I should have asked you this before we started. I normally do, but do we have any new voice actors today?
Don't think so. In fact, we have a character in this episode who's not voiced by his usual voice actor.
Okay.
I'll say it. Yeah, I'll say it now. Tom Lockjaw pops up in this episode, and it's not Scott Bullock.
Okay, who is it this time?
Not sure. I think it's Brian Cummings because he's in this one too, and he gets a pretty substantial scene. Brian Cummings that we'll detail when we get to that too.
Okay.
Now there's one thing I want to mention before we get into the episode.
Go for it.
So the title of the episode, I am 99% sure, is an homage to the third Kiss album, Dressed to Kill from 1975.
Dressed to Kill was also a 1980 movie starring Michael Caine and Angie Dickinson.
Okay.
So it could have been either.
That's so funny because I thought it was from the Beastie Boys album, License to Ill.
No, I don't think Tad Stones and Doug Langdale listen to Beastie Boys.
Oh man, that's so funny.
That's definitely past their generation for sure.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into the episode, Mike. We got DW and LP. They're flying in the Thunderquack, and DW's reading the daily crime report. Take us from there.
And there's no crime.
Doodly squat.
Doodly squat. Darkwing gets aggravated and Launchpad's like, what happened, DW? Lost a game of Wiffle Boy?
Yep.
Oh man. And then but what's LP got in his hand? What's he reading?
Stress Busters.
But he's flying and reading at the same time.
What do you expect? It's Launchpad.
I know, right?
The book is called Stress Busters, How to Relax in a Hurry. And Darkwing says, sounds like a work of genius. And Launchpad said, yeah, I thought so too.
But DW's not happy though, Mike, because he needs crime. He needs something to do. Yeah,
he just feels normal with no crime.
Yeah, and then he pops on the magnifying glasses, and Andrew, what does he spot?
Broken glass at a candy store.
Yep.
Can I just say there's a couple of shots of the Thunderquack just silently flying around a deserted city that are really atmospheric, and I really like them a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so Mike, we head down to the candy store. What next?
So they're at the candy store, and, Darkwing's, looking around with his magnifying glass, and the shopkeeper there, he looks bored out of his mind. He's half asleep, the guy. And Darkwing asked, what happened in here? The place is a complete mess. And the shopkeep just said, it was a cowboy and an Indian. That's
strangely calm.
He's very strangely calm.
Yeah. But then he falls asleep right there, don't he?
He does.
Okay. He falls asleep, and then DW's like snooping around, and he slips on the gumballs, I believe.
Yes.
Yep. And Launchpad's like, good idea, DW.
We could follow the gumball straight to the crooks.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then where they head to next?
Bowling alley.
Okay, they're at the bowling alley. What do they see there?
There's a couple of teenagers playing cards, and again, they look strangely relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
These teenagers, I feel like they're designed as close as you can get to a human being. Like they don't look like they fit into the show's universe. But they tell Darkwing that it was not a cowboy and an Indian. This time it was two pirates.
Yeah. Yep. And they said that pirates had somebody with them, didn't they?
Panthers. Yeah, they wanted to do a new game of bowling. Andrew, what did they want to bowl with?
Panthers.
Panthers, a jackhammer, and marmalade as well.
Oh man! Now, be honest, Mike. The first time you saw this episode, could you figure out who they were talking about? I didn't. The very first time I saw this.
Well, here's the thing: the preview on the Disney Afternoon.
I gave it away.
Spoiled who it was. I distinctly remember there was at least one shot of Megavolt in the preview. Mm-hmm. And that's, I knew it was a Quackerjack and Megavolt episode. But if I didn't know going in, mm-hmm. which it's impossible on Disney Plus, it says Megavolt and Quackerjack. There's no way you wouldn't know. But if there was no way of knowing, it actually sets up a decent mystery.
Mm-hmm. Andrew, also, did you know who it was the first time you saw this?
The first time I saw this was on the DVD, and I don't know if I remember exactly, but I do know when you go to watch it on Disney Plus, the picture is of Quackerjack, so that gives it away too.
See, I saw this the first time on Toon Disney. I had no clue who the villain was. I'm like, who the heck is this?
They do a really good job of making you guess.
Mm-hmm. But you had a spoiler though. Oh, that had to suck. Yeah. All right, so Mike, where we at? I lost my spot. Where are we at now?
Okay, so Darkwing gets attacked by the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
And so next you see Darkwing and Launchpad are walking around the city. He's still following a complete mess everywhere. Mm-hmm. And apparently now it was two circus clowns causing havoc all over the city.
Yeah,
there's an animation error too.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, DW's feathers are sticking out of his hat, and one of them's painted purple.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, the feathers are painted the same color as his mask when they should be white.
I did not catch that.
There's also a really weird edit. Launchpad's following behind Darkwing, reading the book, and for an absolute split second, he walks face first into a broken street lamp. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they should have held on that so you actually saw he, walked into it. But you have to be looking super close because they cut away with no sound effect and nothing. And I feel like they just didn't edit it properly because there should have been more time spent on Launchpad walking into that street light.
All right, so we got DW, and he's recognizing the case is getting crazy and crazy.
Yeah.
Then we get to like a cut scene, Mike, and where are they at and who's there?
They're at the Shoebird Theater. Mm-hmm. Which the Shoebird Theater is a theater in New York City. So that's what this is referencing. The crooks, we find out who they are. Andrew, who are they?
Well, it's Quackerjack and Megavolt.
Yeah.
And they are having the time of their life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're definitely having the time of their life. Megavolt wants to do a little something more shocking.
Yep. And all the dressing up in costumes getting pretty boring.
Yeah, and then, Quackerjack's complaining that Megavolt's spoiling his drama.
Mm-hmm. We got a little bit of this in Time and Punishment, but I feel like this really fleshes out their relationship.
Yeah, it works a lot better here, man.
Where Quackerjack is definitely the leader who has these really childish whims, but is in total control. Because for some reason, even though Megavolt is so much more powerful physically, he's just a whiny brat who just takes the abuse.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. Like, Quackerjack's making him dress up in a dress, and he hates it, but Quackerjack somehow is holding all the cards.
Yeah.
He still calls him Sparky.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that yet, but that's a really funny part of this episode.
Oh, yeah. So then we got Quackerjack and Megavolt, and they start collecting money from the audience.
And the audience looks very, very bored and not bothered by any of this.
Now, one of the pigs in the audience, wasn't he the crook? One of the crooks from Darkwing Dawn's the Duck?
Yep.
I think so. Yeah.
The exact same pig. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Mike, now the scene comes in that I had never seen before. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah. Darkwing recognizes them and then runs up to Quackerjack, pulls out the gas gun, and shoves it right into his face.
Mike, I never saw that ever until today.
Toon Disney was very, very, very nervous about guns. Remember I mentioned they cut the gun out of In Like Blunt?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a gun cut out of Time and Punishment and Comic Chameleon. And there's a whole gun sequence in Inherit the Wimp that we haven't gotten to yet. They cut out completely. So this doesn't shock me at all.
Okay. Yeah. Andrew, I had messaged Mike before we started recording. And I said, dude, I just saw a scene for the first time I've never seen before. And he was like, what scene was that? And I told him what scene it was. He was like, I could see that.
Yeah.
I never saw the Toon Disney edit, but it still doesn't shock me.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I unfortunately I didn't catch this one on Disney Afternoon. You said this was 92, so this is when I left Puerto Rico and I moved to Kansas. So I didn't catch it until Toon Disney started playing them.
So that explains a lot.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Okay,
go ahead, Mike.
Can I describe the rest of the sequence, please?
Yeah, go for it.
Because it's my favorite sequence in the episode. I have to do it justice. So Darkwing is getting so stressed out, and all these people who are so relaxed without any explanation, it's like the universe is laughing at him basically for being so stressed out. Because when he complains, one of the guys is like, "So what's your point?" And the look on Darkwing, they cut to his face with his mouth hanging open, and he grabs his hat and he's like, "Ugh!" Like he can't deal. He's about to snap. He's about to snap. And then he catches Megavolt and Quackerjack backstage, and he's really like almost ready to blow. Mm-hmm. And then Quackerjack pulls out Banana Brain, and you see it from Darkwing's point of view. He holds the doll right in his face and wiggles it, and he goes, "Why don't you relax, Max?" And then the animation on Darkwing is so great. Like his eyes get all bloodshot and his hat blows off his head like a volcano. And he screams, "Would everyone please stop telling me to relax?" And it's such a great performance by Jim. And he throws his head on the floor and he starts stomping on it. He's screaming, "I am relaxed." And then the whole set, the whole backdrop of the theater collapses on him. And it's so well done. It's really great.
Now, Mike, I know you gave Jim his props, but as a Quackerjack fan, I got to give Michael Bell his props. This is episode, I think he does really great with Banana Brain, because he struggled on some episodes with Banana Brain. But this one, I think he had it down pat, man.
He seems to have figured out his thing with Banana Brain. Having Banana Brain always rhyme. Like, "Why don't you relax, Max?" Stuff like that. And I think it's definitely the definitive Quackerjack personality. Like, this is like definitive Quackerjack. I so love him in this episode.
Yeah, and you said this is production. It was like in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
So this is definitely gives Bell where he's had more time to perfect that Banana Brain voice, you know?
Oh, absolutely. This would have been the last Quackerjack episode if they hadn't made any more.
Okay. All right, so let's get back to the story. DW flipped out, and
he flipped out.
And Quackerjack and Megavolt, they escape, right?
Yeah, there's one moment where Launchpad actually like gets really aggressive and goes for them.
"I'll take you out."
Yeah, he goes, "I'll bring you down."
Yeah.
And then Megavolt just taps him on the finger, gives him a shock, and the feeling of bulk when Launchpad passes out and falls to the ground is so funny because he's a big guy. And then they escape. Yeah, well, they get away.
Now, when they escape, they're wearing their usual costumes.
You see it so quick. What car do they get into, Andrew?
Megavolt's car.
We only saw this once, I think, in a Revolution in Home Appliances. I don't know if we see it again, but he's got that fancy car. Remember, Will, in that episode? We love that car. Yeah.
Now, Andrew, I got to ask you this before we move on. You told me your favorite villain sometimes it flops back and forth between Megavolt and Quackerjack, right?
Correct.
Who you favor more on this episode? You don't
Well,
have one as a tie?
Quackerjack's more in control in this one.
He's dominating.
Mm-hmm. And so I feel like he gets more of the funnier jokes.
Okay.
But there's a good mix.
Okay.
I don't feel like one takes too much presence in the episode.
Okay, so you're kind of like in the middle, 50-50, you like both of them on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Megavolt's always funny regardless of what he's doing, and so much of that is Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, okay, let's move back on to the episode. Darkwing asks for the book.
Yeah.
And he says, doesn't he say something like a hero must remain calm at all times or something like that?
Yeah, he's upset that he blew it.
Oh, yeah.
So, very interesting, this next sequence. This is basically like one of those goofy how-to shorts where the narrator of the book is, leading him through some sort of activity very calmly, but we see that it's not going very well for the character doing this. Because you guys know those goofy cartoons, how to fish, how to ski, how to play golf, all of those. And it's pretty much the same thing. And this is where we hear Brian Cummings. He's doing the narration.
Oh, okay.
And I knew it was him because it sounds just like Weasel Loman. And he did that voice too.
Yeah, and what DW's doing, he's exercising, he's getting a massage, he's doing meditation. But what happens during his meditation? Did something bad happen?
Well, he's getting attacked by dogs as he's jogging. His masseuse flattens him with a rolling pin. I don't know why. I'm guessing it's probably just someone he's run into once who didn't like him. That's my headcanon. And yeah, then when he's trying to meditate, a fly starts to bother him. What happens, Andrew?
Well, he can't take it anymore, and so he sets dynamite all around the house. And Launchpad and Goslin come in. What are you doing? There's a fly.
Yeah, Darkwing does the whole Peter Lorre thing, which is one of those stock voices that Jim could do. Wart, one of Fat Cat's goons on Rescue Rangers, has that exact same voice. It's a fly. Yeah, Darkwing is almost completely lost it.
Yeah, and he blows up the house. I mean, I love the animation on that scene though when he blows it up and you see him like burnt to a crisp.
Well, I love the animation of the house exploding. Every time my daughter watches this episode or sees a clip in it in a music video that we enjoy, she cracks up. Just the way the house swells for a second, the roof blows off, and then lands back on upside down. It's so funny. It's just a great little piece of animation of the house.
Yeah, and then I think Goslin tells him that he needs to seek professional help. Was that Goslin or LP who told him that?
Launchpad did. He was reading from the book.
Chapter 12.
Okay, so then he goes seeks help.
Yep.
And we get Dr. Hebe and Dr. GB.
Oh, give me a break. You know exactly who those guys are.
But you know what, Mike? Go ahead, Andrew.
How DW does not recognize him.
Question he questions it, and the Megavolt goes, you are having deja vu.
All right. I got to get back on the Quackerjack bandwagon here.
Yes,
Michael
go for
Bell.
it.
I just love Michael Bell's voice with that German accent because we only heard it once before on Days of Blunder.
But what's funny is that it sounds like Quackerjack, but it's still a different voice. But Megavolt is trying to do the German accent too. But Megavolt can't do a German accent. He just sounds like Megavolt, and it's so funny.
All right, so then we get a Jack in the Box. Is this our first Jack in the Box reference?
It might be. I don't remember another one in any other episode.
Either. I don't either at all, man. But this is not the big Jack in the Box. Right?
No,
not at all. And
we're so close to that one too.
Oh yeah, Andrew, what comes out of the Jack in the Box?
A giant shark. We see what's eating Darkwing.
I love the timing here. Quackerjack gives him the Jack in the Box to start the turn, and Quackerjack gets the heck out of there. But Megavolt stays with his hands on Darkwing's shoulders, watching him do it. And Quackerjack has to reach back into the screen and pull Megavolt away.
That was one of my favorite visual gags.
Like Megavolt doesn't even know what's coming.
Yeah. So now Darkwing's eaten. How does he get out of this?
He beats up the shark with a club, like beats it right back into the Jack in the Box. He's really slamming that thing, and he stops, and the box gives this final death throw, and he has to slam it one more time to make sure it's dead.
Yeah. So now Quackerjack and Megavolt they pulled DW to the chair, and they finally reveal a new weapon. What weapon is that, Andrew?
Mr. Electrotron.
Darkwing gets it.
Yeah.
He gets zapped.
Yep.
Yep, he figures it out, and they throw off their costumes. They strap him to the chair, and they zap the heck out of him.
Yeah. But now the next scene is really strange to me, Mike. We get Darkwing like comes in, through the chair, the spinning chair.
Yeah. By the way, since we're taking count, the episode, the act break, ends with Quackerjack saying it's playtime.
Oh, I didn't catch it.
We always met. Yeah, Megavolt's laughing. Quackerjack says it's playtime. It's such a great. We always have to mention when he says it because it's the only time in the episode.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. I'm ashamed right now. I'm ashamed.
Shame, Will.
Shame on you.
Yeah, I'll take that. I gotta own that one if I didn't catch that.
So yeah, Darkwing gets thrown out of the spinning chair, but he's a zombie.
Yeah, he it's like he flies out of the chair and he hits the wall, hits the ceiling, but then he like just gradually floats down to the table.
He's so relaxed he can't even fall. His relaxation defies gravity.
Yeah, but then we get a special news bulletin.
Yeah, this is where we see Tom Lockjaw. And again, not Scott Bullock. I'm not even sure if we're going to see Tom Lockjaw in any more episodes after this. I can't think of any. Really? So if he shows up, I'll be surprised.
Okay. Yeah, and what's he report, Mike? What does he report in the news?
That 2 giant pumpkins were on the loose.
Yeah, they snuck into a museum and they stole Egyptian stuff, right?
Yeah, no big deal, really.
Yeah, he did say that. It's no big deal.
Isn't he whittling?
Yeah. Oh, man.
So Goslin wants to snap Darkwing out of it. She finds out that Quackerjack and Megavolt run the stress-free clinic, and Darkwing's just chilling with his Walkman, which she calls his Waddleman. Walk, waddle, it's what ducks do. Yeah. Andrew, how did she try to make Darkwing mad?
Well, she goes, let's get mischievous. And she gets on her pogo stick and starts crashing up the den.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she destroys the house, even the TV.
and then Darkwing really gets mad.
Now this... go ahead, Andrew.
Because why? Why did he get mad?
He thought he was out of batteries.
But he's not. He's fine.
Now, Mike, this next cutscene, I really didn't get it. The toy pyramid?
It's Quackerjack and he's nuts.
Yeah, it kind of didn't. I was like, this scene. This is the one scene that I felt like didn't fit though. But go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, they made a pyramid of toys. They have little pharaoh hats on, and I think
cool hats.
Yeah, I think the implication at this point is that everybody in the city is now totally relaxed and they can literally do whatever they want. So Quackerjack's idea of doing whatever he wants is just to make a toy pyramid.
Yeah, he said it's for the law of fun or something, right?
Yeah, basically the law of fun. This is how these two have changed so much. They used to be such deadly villains, and now they just want to have fun. And I love that about them.
Yeah, and then we get a Darkwing entrance, sort of.
See, he never gets to a funny entrance line. He goes, I am the terror. And then something about flapping, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
And then Goslin said, right, now say something to strike terror in their hearts. And he walks up to them and goes, wow, cool hats.
And Goslin says, I think it was Goslin said it's not frightening nobody or something like that.
You're supposed to foil them, not flatter them.
And then Megavolt pulls out that weapon again.
Doesn't work, though.
No, he's out of batteries.
His battery, yep. He's got to charge it up. And then, so where does he go to charge it?
Nowhere yet. Goslin grabs the gas gun.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm surprised this wasn't edited out of Toon Disney. A child with a gun?
Yeah.
But gas doesn't come out. What does she get, Andrew?
Cajun-style pickle relish.
And the reason why is because even a relaxed crime fighter has to be prepared. Because what does he have?
Crazy Kevin's classic cocktail weenies.
I love this running joke. I think it's my favorite running joke of all Darkwing Duck. Especially whenever he says it, it cuts to a close-up of his hand holding the Weenies by toothpicks. Like, it's so surreal for a show like this. I love it. I love this joke. It makes me laugh every single time.
Yeah. So now we got Megavolt trying to charge up his battery.
This is when the Sparky thing starts.
Yeah.
Quackerjack does it 3 times, and this part of the episode, he does it later too. But the last time he does it, when Megavolt's up on the telephone wires charging, Megavolt's, the way he says, "Don't call me Sparky."
That's the best one.
He's so fed up. He's so done. It's so funny.
Well, then Sparky causes a blackout.
Yeah, he fries himself, the Relaxatron, and the city.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a blackout. But then Quackerjack gets a strange idea.
Don't you love the animation of him jumping in the car and then the camera moving around the car to the other side?
Yeah.
Really good animation. Yeah. And you notice the side of the fire engine says QJFD.
Yep. Quackerjack Fire Department.
Love it. Love it. Will, what does he use to put the light up the town? What does he use?
It's like a water hose, but with fire coming out.
I love his logic, because Megavolt says, but shouldn't a fire engine shoot water? And Quackerjack goes, no, because then it'd be called a water engine.
Yep.
It makes
Of
sense.
course.
But then he realizes what he's done here, and he goes seeks help. And there's a fireman, but the fireman's not any help.
He says, Yale burn itself out. And then he goes, and then Megavolt and Quackerjack just stand there for a couple of seconds and stare at each other. Like if to say, holy crap, we are so screwed.
Yeah.
Because the whole city's on fire.
Yeah, and the buildings start collapsing. Darkwing's coming in the Ratcatcher with Gosling and LP, but they almost crash.
Yeah, he flies out of the sidecar, flies right through a burning building, and pops out the other side.
I love the city burns while Hero twiddles.
Yeah. Hero twiddles while St. Canard burns.
Yeah. And then Quackerjack and Megavolt, they think they are safe from the fire because Darkwing's there, but Darkwing's not there to save the fire. What does he do?
No, he's there to toast Crazy Kevin's classic cocktail weenies.
Yeah, so Gosling, she's upset and asks why they didn't put she asks Quackerjack and Megavolt why they didn't put out the fire.
And Quackerjack's he's like, put out the fire? What an idea. Like, he never thought of it.
Now Megavolt gets some time to shine though.
What does he do, Andrew?
It's the Megavolt superhero line, right?
Yeah, he blows up a fire hydrant.
Yeah.
Which then the entire water main breaks and starts to flood
and then
the city.
they start to flood.
Yeah.
Now Quackerjack has a chance to be the hero. He provides go ahead.
Quackerjack, Megavolt super fool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great
Bites
one.
his nose with his toy teeth. That's not funny. Yeah, so then Quackerjack comes up with an inflatable raft.
Yeah, the rubber ducky boat.
Yep. And it's funny, Gosling's like, does anybody have a boat on them? And Quackerjack's like, yeah. Why do you ask?
Yeah, like
duh.
Yeah,
he's so funny. He's like clueless, but he's still just so great. I love him.
Yeah. So now Gosling finally comes up with an idea how to bring Darkwing back.
Yeah, she tosses him in the boat, and the little splash gets near Megavolt, who starts to complain he might short out, and then Gosling gets the light bulb goes off, basically.
Yep.
And it's great. She tosses Darkwing into Megavolt's lap, and right before she shocks them both, he says, "Have a nice day."
I didn't even catch that. I would have laughed if I would have heard that, man.
Every line of Relax Darkwing is just so funny.
Yeah, so we got Darkwing back, but they're going down a waterfall, Mike.
When Darkwing wakes up, he goes, what, where, who, when, sometimes why?
I think he said that once before, but I can't remember what episode it was.
It sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember what episode I heard him say that.
By the way, waterfall in the middle of the city?
Yeah, in the middle of the city.
They were on street level when this flood started. Where are they falling from?
Yeah.
But then But then they fall down like the sewer or something. They go down the drain pipes.
Down into the St Canard waterworks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is this the only other time we see it other than
Dry Hard?
Mm-hmm.
Far as I know.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when they go down the drain pipes, there's a whirlpool down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Megavolt says, "Death by jacuzzi." But Darkwing saves them all. He attaches the power cord from Megavolt to Quackerjack's toy teeth, attaches it to a pipe all the way above, and they all get out of the whirlpool, and they're all safe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now they got to shut off the valve.
So that book finally comes in handy.
Mm-hmm.
And he even shocks himself. He hits the shut off valve, and he's like, "What do you know? It worked."
But then Quackerjack and Megavolt, they're trying to escape. They're getting out of there.
You can never have too many rubber duckies.
Yeah, but here we go again. What comes out of Darkwing, Andrew?
The Weenies, they saved the day.
Yep. Crazy Kevin's classic cocktail weenies. And I love Goslin. She pulls on her pigtails. Not the weenies again, Dad. I love that face she makes whenever she pulls on her pigtails. It's great. So what does he do, Andrew?
Oh gosh.
The toothpick. The toothpick.
Yes, he uses a toothpick.
Yeah. He pops their raft.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then we get a cutscene, Mike, and we finally see Drake for the first time.
Yeah, he's finally able to relax. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're out at a picnic or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Launchpad is so distraught that they're out of Crazy Kevin's classic cocktail weenies. He's so upset about it too. Like Launchpad is really bothered by this.
Yeah.
They would have made the perfect picnic snack. Like he's like so close to tears.
I mean, I'd be distraught too.
Yeah, really. I mean,
and Drake's claiming he's calm, he's relaxed, but he sees a litter bug. He's not that relaxed anymore.
Yeah, he's ready to jump back into action.
And then we got Quackerjack. Now, this scene I thought was a little weird. Quackerjack and Megavolt with doing community service, but it looked like they were in prison suits with like a chain gang.
Well, they probably are in prison. This is probably, it probably is community service, but they're in prison. You notice the animation mistake, the coloring mistake on Quackerjack?
Orange Quackerjack.
Yeah,
orange Quackerjack, orange arms, orange neck, just like Quack of Ages.
Yeah.
But
at least on this episode, it's only for one scene. It's not the whole episode.
Yeah, like 2 shots.
Yeah.
When Quackerjack says, "Why don't you relax, Sparky?" Does anybody else think he sounds exactly like Jack Nicholson when he says that?
No, I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that either.
Next time you watch it, I feel like Bell is channeling Nicholson. Just the way he says Sparky, he sounds so much like Nicholson. And because Megavolt is having a fit. He is stressed out. He is so stressed.
I was just going to ask, is this the first episode he ever called him Sparky?
Darkwing was calling him Sparky. I think he calls him Sparky in Duck Blind. But this is the first time Quackerjack does it.
Okay.
I think it's the only time Quackerjack does it.
But it's so recognizable, you just immediately think of it.
Yeah, because he does it so many times.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the episode ends with Megavolt having a royal hissy fit, just like Darkwing. It ends on him screaming.
That's like the most I've ever heard him scream.
Yeah. Well, normally I like to defer to you, Mike, but because we got Andrew here, Andrew, I want to go to you first. How many gas gun canister you would give this episode and why?
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay.
I just think the Quackerjack and Megavolt elements really boosted up for me. Because this wouldn't work with any other villains.
No.
And just they have a lot more screen time than in Time and Punishment, because once they get to the future in that, they take a back seat.
Right.
So I just think it's really good to see them play off each other, and it really develops their relationship more.
Well, Andrew, but from the time they show up with the toy pyramid all the way to the end of the episode, they're in it nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
They get a lot of screen time. You're right.
And they even have to team up with DW so they can get out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How about you, Mike? How many gas gun canisters you giving this one?
I'm going to give it a 4 as well. It's one of my all-time favorites in terms of my own preference, but in terms of ranking it as far as quality, I have to give it a 4 because, again, it isn't top tier. Yeah. But for me, it's just really funny. I like the Japan animation. It's a great Quackerjack show. Megavolt's funny as always. And man, that crazy Kevin's Classic Cocktail Weenie stuff, it hits me right in the sweet spot. I find it hilarious. I
Never
really
gets
do.
old.
It never does. Like that and the Dr. Slug nonsense are my favorite running gags in this show.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with you guys, so it's unanimous. I'm giving it a 4 as well.
All right.
For me, like, I know I'm being biased here, but I don't care. This is our podcast. I can do what I want. And but Michael Bell, man, I feel like he's perfected Quackerjack. I love Banana Brain on this. It does take a while, Andrew. I do agree with you. It does take a while for the Megavolt and Quackerjack to really stay in there. But once they get to the scene where they start the fire and all that, I just love that they take over Darkwing for a few minutes. It's like it's their show. They're flip-flopping, causing danger to St. Canard, and then they're trying to save it, and then they go back to trying to escape and get out of there.
Right.
I just love it. And I don't know, but Castellaneta and Bell, that chemistry is just there, man.
Like I said, the end of the first act when they're zapping Darkwing and Quackerjack's laughing and saying it's playtime and Megavolt's laughing, those two laughs and the voices Bell and Castellaneta, it just melds so perfectly. Like the two of them, I feel like they were created to be together. It's so perfect.
Yeah, I would co-sign that, man. All right, so Mike, are we doing any kind of ratings for villains here, or
Nothing too great.
Okay, all right. So Mike, what episode we got next?
Well, here's the thing. Like I said, we're thinking of doing some bonus episodes between now and the next one we're going to do. The next episode in air date would have been the Darkwing Squad after a 6-7 week break. But I don't think we'll be doing that one right away. I think we've got some bonus content, including a discussion of how 2020 treated Darkwing Duck. So look forward to possibly some bonus episodes, but we haven't completely gotten all figured out yet. Right, Will?
Yeah. Okay. And Andrew, man, oh, excuse me, I burped. I was drinking some eggnog there. Sorry, guys. But,
eggnog burp.
Yeah. All right, so Andrew, like, at this point, does Megavolt kind of still stand up? Because I think you lean a little more toward Megavolt. You know what I'm saying? As your favorite villain. I know you have your Quackerjack moments too. Are you still favoring Megavolt at this point in the show? We're in the 60s, I think now.
Well, at this point, there's not too many more Quackerjack appearances. And then from there, Megavolt's really, him and Megaduck are like the only last two classic villains you really see for the rest of the show.
Yeah, let me co-sign and elaborate on what Andrew's talking about. It took weeks for Quackerjack to show up, and by then Megavolt had a whole ton of classic episodes: Duck Blind, Comic Book Capers, Negaduck, Revolution of Home Appliances. And then Megavolt kind of dropped off, and then we got a lot of Quackerjack. And now Quackerjack's actually, sadly, about to go away, and will still. Well, he is. But then Megavolt keeps going, even through ABC Season 2. So Megavolt kind of comes and goes, but we have a whole cluster of great Quackerjack in the middle. So it's really interesting.
Okay. All right. Andrew, man, do you have anything you want to plug, man, before we sign off? Anything you want to plug? Because I know you said you were working on a podcast possibly, right?
Well, no, that was mainly for school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mike, man, where can the people who are checking this out for the first time, where can they find us at?
Luckily, we're on all major podcast apps. You can find us on Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, or if you feel like it, you can just watch us on YouTube.
Okay.
Shout-outs, Will?
Yeah, I got one. I'm not going to say their full name. I was going to say give a shout-out to my boy Neve. People will catch on to that later, why I'm giving that person a shout-out.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, you trust me. By the time this one airs, they'll know. But yeah, give a shout out to my boy. I hope everybody's doing good. Hoping everybody has a happy New Year. Andrew, you do anything for New Year's?
Not really anything big. Just really going to be home, and then I don't think we're having really anybody over at New Year's time. So
good.
Okay. Yeah, man. Hopefully this 2021's got to be better, right?
We'll see, but we'll keep our fingers crossed.
You've jinxed us, Will.
Well, 2021 is the 30th anniversary of Darkwing Duck, and we've already discovered we have some products coming out next year for Darkwing. So hopefully we're in for a good year.
All right, guys. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode. And remember, stay dangerous.
Go enjoy some Crazy Kevin's Classic Cocktail Weenies.
Don't forget the relish.
Yes. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
See ya.